Have you ever wondered what a magical unicorn sneeze actually tastes like? I can guarantee it doesn't taste like a plain slice of white bread, and it definitely doesn't taste like mayonnaise. We're going to use a series of reliable steps to engineer edible unicorn magic right in your own kitchen. And you can leave your oven off. This requires zero traditional baking. What we are doing is running a fast, chaotic, messy science experiment. To get blindingly bright, magical neon pinks and blues, we have to start with the most deeply boring, pure base imaginable, plain white chocolate. Before we melt it down, you can see how heavy and dense this block is. It is a completely blank, solid slate. That pure white canvas is an absolute requirement. A blank beginning is the only way to make neon colors truly pop. We melt that blank slate down and divide the smooth, liquid white chocolate into 4 separate mixing bowls. Here is where we apply the color, and the ingredients you choose matter. We have to use concentrated neon food gels, rather than the little squeeze bottles of standard liquid food coloring you might have in your pantry. This diagram shows why. Standard food coloring is full of liquid water, and water causes the smooth structural grid of melted chocolate to instantly seize up and break apart into gritty clumps. A thick gel, on the other hand, slides right into that grid harmlessly. So we take our gels and vigorously stir neon pink into bowl 1, electric purple into bowl 2, bright blue into bowl 3, and neon green into bowl 4. But stop right here. This is the exact moment where 99% of homemade unicorn desserts fail completely. If you get too enthusiastic and dump all those beautiful neon colors into one single bowl, rapidly mixing them together, you end up with a gross, unappetizing puddle of gray mud. Unchecked chaos destroys the vibrancy. To keep the aesthetic alive, we have to maintain strict visual boundaries between each element. To build those boundaries, we use a mosaic method. We drop distinct pools of each neon-colored base right next to each other on a lined baking sheet. Then we grab a butter knife and use a figure-8 motion. Moving the knife in this specific pattern curls the colors together without blending them into mud. This diagram maps out the exact physics of the swirl. Notice how the knife traces a figure-8 path, stretching the borders of those distinct colored circles into beautiful, long ribbons that sit side by side without ever actually mixing. The golden rule of this swirl is restraint. You pull the knife through exactly 2 times, and then you stop moving it. Our mixture looks visually perfect right now, but eating a plate of soft mush is a deeply disappointing experience. We need physical crunch. We immediately upgrade the texture with neon sprinkles, tiny edible gold stars, and mini marshmallows. You have to act with urgency. You must throw those toppings onto the chocolate right now, while the surface is still wet and sticky, so they lock onto the candy. Matching that smooth, flowing swirl with a sharp, physical crunch creates a contrast that brings the neon visuals to life. At the very beginning, we established a strict rule for this process. No heat and no ovens allowed to finish the job. Instead, we rely on temperature. We place the baking sheet into the freezer so the extreme cold can rapidly lop those ribbons of color and heavy textures firmly in place. That aggressive drop in temperature stops the liquid from spreading, trapping our creation exactly as we designed it. Then the waiting begins. It takes about 30 minutes of agonizing anticipation for the cold to completely harden the structure. Finally, we get the payoff. You pull that solid pan out of the cold, preparing to break it apart. The chocolate has gone from a wet, sticky canvas to a brittle candy that snaps cleanly right in your hands. You can apply these exact same rules to unicorn ice cream, starting with a plain base, dividing it, adding neon gel, using the figure-8 swirl, and freezing it fast to get scoops of distinct neon ribbons. By respecting the blank white canvas, strictly limiting the swirl, and using extreme cold, anyone can engineer a perfectly magical dessert without a single drop of actual magic.